Day 6, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about how to be attractive. Because that's what you really want. You want to be attractive to a member of the opposite sex. And how do you do that? Go back to my other lessons, think about what I was saying, tell yourself a story that I am attractive, and follow through with action. Follow through with being on the multiple planes, following through with being on those multiple levels, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions. The more you're in line with those, the more you'll be in that state. The more you are coherent and consistent with being on those levels, you're more than likely going to be attractive. But you could be physically attractive, all kinds of attractive. But there's one principle that I live by, and it's this. To be strong, you have to keep being strong. So being attractive, it's not a one-time thing. It's a thing you keep doing. If you want to be attractive, you have to keep being attractive. It's not something you stop. When we go out on dates, especially when we're in the dating phase, and you come into a relationship, you enter into a relationship with a member of the opposite sex, you don't suddenly stop being attractive, because this is perhaps a general consensus for many people, where they suddenly stop being attractive. And they don't realize that they're not being attractive anymore. Instead, they're attracting things they don't want, and they keep focusing on the things they don't want, and therefore they keep bringing into their life, more unattractive things they don't want. So we have to keep focusing our attention on the things that we do want. And the whole idea of what wanting even means, just put that aside for now. One thing we can do right to be attractive is to be really good at creating sexual tension. Now, there's this thing called hypnotic rhythm, or just rhythm in general, and it looks like that. Or just waves, like that. Now, sometimes it goes up, sometimes this goes down. You never want to be stuck in position at one spot. You don't want to be consistent like that, because then you're stuck. It's kind of like holding your breath for too long. The more you hold your breath, the more you're going to collapse and faint. Unless that's a skill you're obviously aiming to attain. Or you could probably do that for 10 minutes straight, which would be insane. But you want to let there be a dip. You want to let there be a rise. There can't be a rise if there's no dip. So the principle of this with the rhythm is you have to follow that formula. You have to go flow with the river, not against it. 2 steps forward, 1 step back in the dance. This is how dances actually work. This is how the rhythm works. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And this is going to be your general interactions. This is going to be your communication, even your chemistry. Don't ask me about chemistry. I was thinking about writing here, but honestly, it's never even come to mind when I've been entering into relationships and stuff. So, but this is it. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Flirt a little bit. Pull back a little bit. Be curious a little bit. Pull back a little bit. Flirt a little bit. Pull back a little bit. You don't want to come across as too strong. You don't want to be putting your foot down. You don't want to be like my way or the highway. You want to be firm but flexible. Firm but flexible. You don't want to be waving in the wind and following whichever direction that the wind blows. You want to be one with the wind and allow it to be. Be like Jesus on the stormy waters, Dalai Lama man. And how do we be this Dalai Lama? This playful attitude? Because playful is also a key here. You want to be playful. You want to be imaginative with your special companion, your specific person, your romantic interest. You want to be playful with them. You want to be imaginative. But how can you do that? Well, you keep being that. You keep practicing that. You don't stop. Even if you fail, which is actually a good thing, you can learn from that. Imagine there is a comedian and he goes to his place where he does his jokes, and only 2 out of his 20 jokes hit, and he fails miserably with the 18. This is good feedback because it tells him what he did well and what he needs to work on. So the next time, when he goes to his comedian show again, this time maybe 3 or 4 of the jokes out of the 20 land. And you do the same over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. So to be attractive, to be funny, to be etc., you have to keep being. Now sure, you can shift to whatever state of being you desire, if you so choose, but I guess you have to be familiar with what that means, like riding a bike. You know what it's like to ride a bike, and so therefore you can easily shift to that mode. If you know how to swim, I don't know how to swim properly myself. I barely just kind of know how to sit myself for like 2 minutes, but when I can eventually learn how to swim properly, I'll be able to enter into that mode no problemo. Maybe even go under the water and swim like in the movies, with my eyes open or something. Ooh, so you have to keep being that in order to know how to be like that. Also, I go to the gym. If I was to stop going to the gym, or being strong, etc., then I wouldn't be strong. I know how to do the habit. It's the habit that's really important, by the way. That is a habit. It's a cycle, and there could be more than one component in the cycle, but generally that's what it looks like. And it just follows that. Same with going to the gym, by the way. Same with being attractive. When you go to the gym, for example, you only go maybe once a day, once a week, for like 1 hour. Or maybe twice a week for 1 hour. Maybe the more you get better and better and better at it, it becomes so second nature that you can almost do this every single day. For me personally, I'm only doing this twice a week with professional guidance to the T. But if you don't have that guidance, just getting in the habit is very important. You might resist the habit though. You have to find a way to make yourself enjoy it, to make it impactful for you. Because you can't really rock up and just hate it. You have to somehow find a meaning behind it. So if you're trying to be attractive, find some type of leverage that entices you to feel good about being attractive, instead of just like dressing up and hating yourself for it. Part of this formula of being attractive is that we have to say to ourselves, tell ourselves a story that I am attractive, and follow through with that. Don't try to contradict that. Honor your word and follow through with that. Be that. Don't inject self-doubt. Here are some great date ideas on how to keep being attractive, by the way. These are things that I've personally done, and I just love. Going overseas or traveling together is one of the best ways to just kind of fall in love together. Imagine you live in different countries. I've done this. You go overseas, they come to your place, who knows, and you explore cities together. You invite them to go. It's just amazing because you're trying to solve problems together. Actually, solving problems is another one. Solving problems, that's great. Get my short course called The Love Triangle. It's in the link of my bio. It's called The Love Triangle. You want to be able to solve problems, right? That's a great thing sometimes. In the movies, sometimes you see this where people are facing challenges and they don't want to be together, but because you're solving problems together, somehow you end up just kind of enjoying the other person's company. But this does take a bit of time. Adventure, staying at home, going for walks, by the way, one of the best way to get to know someone, to enjoy being in someone's presence, and just talking about things that you find relevant in the moment. Going on walks. You could do this anywhere, in your travel or in your hometown. And even coming to stay at your place or at an Airbnb, and you're being together, you're sort of feeling what it's like. A lot of people in places like Australia, they have this idea, like there's potentially many people like this in the poorer spectrum of the financial side. They think that they're trialing a person by living with them to make up their mind. BITCH, that's tarded. Just letting you know. Because that's not a period where you're testing to see if this person is right for you. You're already in that position. It can take less than 2 weeks to figure this out. But the longer time you spend sort of going up and down like this together, I think the more likely you're going to be very happy. It's only when you get stuck in one spot for way too long and you're trying to, with a fixed mindset, stay stuck there, which is really bad. Alright, that is the end of this lesson. I hope you learned something new. Go out there, improve your current relationship by continuing to be attractive, and just attract a member of the opposite sex naturally by just being attractive. Remember, keep being attractive. That's how you be attractive.